And okay, we are live. Hello. Yeah. Although, Dan, I didn't know you didn't meant that I wanted to do it right now because it was like, this would be actually kind of a cool topic to talk about this Sheila bitch.
Oh, you wanted to specifically focus on her. I thought you wanted to go over
Well, no,
all.
comics in general, but I kind of wanted that to be the starting point because I was like, this is actually kind of an interesting subject.
I mean, people want to see more of her. I got replies in those threads saying that they don't like that modern writers don't really mention her with the when it comes to the incident.
I mean, I probably would just to see like maybe they could explore like maybe what if there's more to explore with that version of her. Personally, I'm fine with either version being left alone because both the Sheila Heywood version of Jason's mom and the Catherine one who just died when he was a kid that was his mom and
Yeah.
New 52. I prefer both of those as the origin. I'm not that picky, although I think I prefer the 52 version because I find it slightly more fucked up.
I mean, honestly, I think I'm more sympathetic to the 52 version, and normally um I usually prefer pre 52 continuity over post 52, but her dying, I guess when he's born or I don't fully remember the 52. I remember that she didn't fucking do what she did like pre 52. I'll take that. Any version of her, I'm taking over the version in Death of the Family. That version I truly do hate.
I mean, I'm just like, okay, look, there are stories of women who are kind of weird and messed up. Sheila's not even the weirdest one. Like today, I learned about a legend of a noble house that King Richard the Lionheart is descended from. The woman in that story is also kind of nutso, but she also may or not be real. But she was a demon, and when she left her husband, she didn't take half his shit. She just took two of their kids. So it's not, but yeah, no, Sheila and that one is kind of weird though because it's like, okay, so you guys fumbled the bag with his origin that one time, and you kind of fumbled with his mom in this one, but it's like, I mean, it's not that bad, I guess. I think the pre 52 one's kind of more fucked up in a weird way because it's like you haven't seen this guy since you gave birth to him, and you then turn a blind eye and smoke a cigarette just so you don't have to pay attention to the fact he's being beat with a crowbar. The fuck?
Yeah, and honestly, it's not really that. Like for some people, they focus on that. I just focus on the fact that she lured him to Joker. Like she actively participated in this. It's just one of those things. And on top of that, she lets him she lets him cover she basically allows him to like cover himself, sorry, cover the bomb with his body. She lets him die for her. And it's like one, you're responsible for all you're responsible for most of this. I won't blame everything. If Joker didn't come, it wouldn't have happened. But on top of that, you're willing to let him die before you. It's like her selfishness, I think, is probably why I really hate her character in Death of the Family.
I mean, I have to ask though, wasn't she tied up? Because I had vague memories of, because I don't think I have a copy of that comic yet. I think it's
She was
on my list of things to get, but I thought she was
yeah,
tied up when he was
she was
being, when
tied
the,
up.
okay,
Yeah,
then what could she have done then? It's like, yeah, you're tied to a little bar, a little support beam. You can't really stop him.
I think, and look, I'll admit this argument. I don't think it's airtight. I don't think that that it's a slam dunk. But I do remember the logic that when a mother's child is in danger, her outer strength could basically come out, and she'll be there to basically protect her child. Like I heard of the incident of a little kid almost getting run over by a car, and the mom lifted the car to get the child out. Like, and you're like, you don't expect that level of power from like I guess a normal person like a mother, but they're willing to bring out that outer strength to protect their kid. And that's my biggest issue with Sheila, is that she doesn't really give most of a fuck about her kid. I'll admit she felt sympathetic to what was happening to him a little bit, but not sympathetic enough. Not so she didn't feel sympathetic enough not to stop what was happening to him, and she's mainly the cause of it. And on top of that, she's willing to let him die for her. So it's like all these factors. And people say, well, she didn't really know him. All right, fine, but like that tells me she never really cared much about her kid to begin with. Like, okay, you still know that's your son, even if you didn't have much of a relationship. You still know that, and you're still willing to let him die for your actions. It's like she's a shit. She's not just a shit mom. She's a shit person. And
Yeah, kind of. Because I remember when you posted that, and I told you I would look it up from the little information I could find on the wiki. Because I remember like she had some kind of past involvement in a botched operation. I think it was an abortion that led to a woman dying or a teenage girl dying.
yeah,
That was why she wasn't in his life. Was this forced her to flee? And although I have to ask, why would you leave your son with Willis Todd? Like, especially that version of Willis Todd. Like, Willis Todd originally was just a criminal. Like, the thing they introduced in Rebirth, that was decades, like a full 50 years, I guess, from being ever the thing, or more or less. So you have to go on the run, and you leave your son with Willis Todd, a man who is, for a lack of better terms, at least in that continuity, just another criminal.
yeah.
Who got killed by Two-Face, I might add, or whoever. And so that was why she wasn't in his life, was that it doesn't excuse what she did later, but it's like, yeah, so you have to choose between helping a stranger and ruining your own life even more or whatever. Like, yeah, it's not, I'm not trying to justify what she did, but yeah, at the very least, I can see why she would come to that very dumb conclusion and make that very dumb decision. Because like, you are working with the Joker. Hell, in that same comic, you see him interact with Ayatollah Amy, who is a man so crazy that even the Joker's kind of taken aback.
Yeah. I believe she's a criminal, if I remember, because I read Death of the Family twice. I think when Joker met up with her and threatened her to like help him, she was in the middle of a crime operation. So she is a criminal. So already you could say, okay, she's not really a good person society-wise or international-wise, because she's participating in international crimes. But it's like you'd expect a criminal to still care about their kid. Like, there's a comic, and this is a bit unrelated. Selena Kyle, she's known well for being a thief, a criminal, and all sorts of aspects. When she had a kid, she felt her life was so dangerous that with the assistance of Batman, she had her child, she made her child disappear and like gave her up to a family that was safe for her kid. It's just the fact of the matter that as much of a criminal as Selena Kyle is, she still cared for her daughter enough to like give her like a safe life. But Jason's mom, like she's also a criminal, and she doesn't really care about Jason at all, at least in that continuity.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember it specifying why she left him with Willis. Maybe it was a case of Willis wasn't as bad at the time. Maybe he wasn't as a criminal back then. Maybe it was a case of they had the idea back then that he was doing what he did just to pay bills or something. I don't know. I highly doubt they thought that far ahead. And this isn't a knock on the people who are working on DC. Like, anyone who comes is like, why are you being so mean to people at DC? Don't you say respect the dead? Like, yeah, I do. But at the same time, sometimes they would make decisions that looked like they weren't even thinking 2 steps ahead. So bear that in mind. But I do have to wonder if maybe Willis in the original continuity wasn't as bad as Jason remembers him as in New 52. And then learned he wasn't as bad as in Rebirth, because that's also a factor. Whereas Catherine Todd in New 52, what happened to her is kind of messed up, because the Joker set all of this up just so he could fuck with Batman.
Yeah,
like,
Joker
made it look like she died of a drug overdose. And somehow, and I'm like, okay, did you literally orchestrate events where Jason would meet Batman and you knew for sure? Because if so, then yeah, I'm on board with the whole Joker's not completely insane and he's not just a dog chasing the car. This is a level of forethought that's kind of creepy.
The whole Joker insane super saint, because like that thing that comes from, I believe, a Grant Morrison comic where they reveal that Joker's super sane. Like they're like Joker is so sane he could switch between insanity and sanity. So he's able to simultaneously be insane and sane at the same time, which I think is pretty fucking weird. But
Yeah,
because
I
yeah,
never learned about that theory. I was like, wait, what? Because you know this. I did not get into comics till after I found Comic Historian back in 2015 or 16 or whatever.
yeah,
I do remember finding that a video of a guy talking about this, and it's like this does lend credence to that time Jason basically shut him up by saying like, "You're not half as crazy as you like to pretend you are," and it shut the Joker up. He had like this like sourpuss look on his face, and Jason's like, "Well, what do you know? I finally shut the Joker up. That was definitely worth the wait."
oh yeah, no, I think that's just I think that's just a payback. I think that's bigger payback than ever killing him. But honestly, if I remember correctly with that particular thing, that implies that Joker uses his insanity as an excuse to justify his actions, because Jason called him out in that panel telling him that you're not as crazy as you want people to think you are, and you're crazy is just an excuse for like all the things you do. So it's like, I think if Joker accepted the fact that he's not as crazy, he's crazy, but he's not as crazy as like people believe he is. If he accepts that, that means that he has to wrestle with all the terrible shit he's done, which will probably break him. So
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny about that? That kind of reminds me of a line from Doctor Who, like right before what's that svelte prick's name that looks like a stiff breeze? David Tennant.
yeah,
There was that one kind of special where they introduced this Dalek, who I guess was a big thing before the rebirth of it, where he goes, "How many more? How many have died in your name? The
yeah,
doctor, the man who keeps running, never looking back, because he dare not out of shame." That's kind of based on what you're saying. That's what the Joker reminds me of, in that it's like, okay, this guy's a nihilist who cannot accept. It's not just that he can't accept responsibility, that life is chaotic and he has done all these horrible things. It's also a case that if he does try to accept it, it will cripple him mentally.
yeah. Oh well, we know this because Martian Manhunter, which I believe you know who that is, but I'll just clarify. Martian with superpowers, member of the Justice League, all that other stuff. He took away Joker's. He made Joker completely sane for like an amount of time. Apparently, he couldn't keep Joker sane for too long. But when he kept Joker sane for a small amount of time, Joker felt genuine remorse for every terrible thing he's done, and Joker literally like willed himself back to being insane in order to not feel that guilt.
Yeah, it's kind of like, actually, this is a weird thing. Like I said this in the past, I feel no sympathy for Joss Whedon getting his shit pushed in figuratively, but that kind of reminds me of Angelus and Angel, actually. The
Oh,
difference is Angelus is like Angelus is what Angel would be like if he didn't have a soul, basically, because he's basically a demon and a human with the humanity forced back on him. And it's
mm-hmm.
like, okay, imagine if you took away, like, let's say you forced Angel to be what he is, but then he can't handle the memories and he chooses to go back to being the demon. That's what the
Yeah.
Joker sounds like when he's made temporarily sane. Yeah, I know that panel. The guy I told you about earlier who did the video mentioning him being super sane. He
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that. And I think Martian Manhunter said something effective like, this man's mind is like a raging storm.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter said he is insane, but like I said, when he takes away the insanity, Joker is just a broken man. And honestly, you get that in the Killing Joke too.
Oh, hey, Nazo.
Oh, Nazi
Um,
always.
and Nazo's he just left the comments. I never know when who's in here or not because it'll say one month we have a viewer, then zero, then two, then zero. But anyway, yeah, hey, Nazo, we're just talking about
Yeah.
comics. We were talking about Sheila Todd, and now it's just comics in general now. But yeah, so the idea of the Joker, like, I'm like, wait a fucking minute, New 52 Joker. You're telling me that you intentionally made it look like a woman. Yeah, I see two people here. I don't know who the other one is. But you intentionally manipulated events to where Jason thought his mom died, and I guess orchestrate to where he would meet Batman, become Robin, and then you killed him just to screw with Batman. Like, that is a level of insanity and vindictiveness that I'm like, I can't tell if I'm impressed or majorly disturbed more than usual.
Yeah, majorly disturbed, honestly. It kind of it kind of rings a bell. Joker, he is his level of crazy is, well, it's very disturbing just for the simple fact that, if I remember correctly, and they don't do this anymore, so that's not something you're gonna see, but it was implied in earlier comics that Joker knew he lives in comic books, and the logic is generally, because Joker knows it's all fiction, he doesn't feel much guilt for the terrible things he does. Now, Joker breaking the fourth wall isn't really much of a thing anymore. They don't really do that. But if you keep that in mind, that probably explains everything. And it explains
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it explains the nihilism.
Also, when you were talking about Sheila on Twitter with that thing, like, there's one other thing that I think explains why Jason is able to, I guess, forgive his mother somewhat is, like, some people, like, I used to like the idea of Jason and Red Hood being the Punisher. I was like, no, he's not fully, because the Punisher, especially if we're going like HBO, or not HBO, but Punisher Max and stuff, like after he was first given an origin and whatever, as he got, when they made him actually dark, the Punisher's kind of dead inside. Jason Todd is not. There is still a part of him that hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Punisher's like, yeah, he does not have a lot of faith, and like he has I would describe him the same way I describe the Templars and Assassin's Creed when it comes to their view of people. They are very cynical. That is the Punisher as well. He is very cynical towards people and criminals. And it's like, yeah, he has an extreme black and white moral code. It's pretty simple not to end up on the wrong side of his barrel. Don't be a criminal. But it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do or what your excuse is. It is a case of, you made a choice. Now you get to live with the consequences of that choice, which admittedly I'm on board with, but at the same time, kind of messed up if it's a case of your life was fucked and you had to make a really shitty decision. But so yeah. I think Jason is not nearly as dead inside, or at least the version of him that I was reading, whether it was the original Red Hood or the New 52 or the Rebirth, he still had an element of being not completely far gone. Even when he was crazy, there was at least still a person there. Like the Punisher, half the time, I'm convinced he's hollow, soulless. Because especially
they've broken Punisher. Like, okay, Punisher used to have this moral code, and now in modern comics, he doesn't really have a moral code. He just likes killing terrible people. It's a need. It's kind of like Dexter Morgan. I don't know if you ever watched Dexter. Maybe you
I can't say I know of him, because I remember when I was in college, like the first couple of years after finishing high school, I would hear people mention him, his show, and Breaking Bad, because I heard people say Breaking Bad is like a modern Macbeth, basically, which I don't know if I believe that in hindsight, but
it kind of is.
The whole thing is he has a dark passenger. He saw his mom get killed with a chainsaw, basically, and worst of all, it was his adoptive dad's fault.
Yeah, it's all Harry's fault. Nut job Harry. That's what he's called in the fandom. But no, Dexter, he's a serial killer that kills serial killers. You already know that. But
yeah.
In the recent show, they're like, he has a sense of justice. He has an actual sense of justice. In the previous shows, he just had a need to kill, and Harry taught him to center it on bad people. And I think that's the direction they've taken Frank in modern comics. He just likes killing terrible people. It's gotten that bad. It's not even.
Yeah, the sad part is there's a part of me that does want to think maybe the people who were writing him that made that call thought it would be a better direction, because every time I see them do something with the Punisher, and granted, I have not read a Punisher comic in a while that was new, but sometimes I look at the douchebags who write him now, and I'm thinking they just want him to be a soulless monster because they think gun owners are soulless monsters, because these people think if you want a gun, you want dead kids.
You're right. No, you're right. That's literally it. Yeah.
Oh, so they're basically like the nut jobs who spurged out when Josie the Tiger and the Fish movie dropped, and someone posted a clip saying the average male fantasy, and everyone responded with the most immediate effed up responses of why they think this is just like pedo bait. It's like one of them said, "Show me her boobs." Like, okay, if she had boobs, you would call it predator bait. If she didn't, you call it bait. Make up your mind. But anyway, that's what I think of the people who write the Punisher, because I remember some people who've written him to where he just uses his family's murder as an excuse to kill people. Like, I can't remember if Garth Ennis did that, because I have to read the Max at some point, even though I.
Oh yeah, read it. That's the Max. It takes place in a world with no superheroes. It's extremely grounded, and you just see Punisher go to town.
Yeah, I remember me and Bats and Richard were talking about this. Like, I was talking about how Almighty Lolly had done a video about the Punisher film with Thomas Jane and gave some history of the Punisher. And I think one of the points he brought up that started thing was like, in this version, imagine if you're a criminal, like a small time, low dick energy one who was never in danger of being like a big name. There's some guy out there that has killed people in the same line of work as you, and he's done it for a generation or two. You are a generation removed from his, so he's been around killing a full generation of criminals, and it probably scares you to the point of probably pissing yourself at the idea of running into him. That's kind of a scary thought.
Honestly, in terms, okay. So my thing is with Punisher is I don't. Like when it comes to those controversies, dude, it comes to like the whole conservative liberal thing and stuff like that. Because like Punisher is supposed to be a critique on the gun-toting American who believes that they should put justice in their own hands and like gun down what they believe is criminal and evil. Like that's what Jerry Conway, like the creator, that was his intent. It came from other writers. Other writers came in and made him more of an anti-hero. They made him more justified in the stuff, but most Punisher writers, they just want to tear him down. My only problem is the hypocrisy, because Wolverine, if you ask me, is not that different from Punisher at all. I don't know why Marvel Comics treats him better, because he kills. He doesn't have a no-kill rule. Other characters know he kills. I don't know why. This is something that always gets me. I don't know why Wolverine never gets lectured for killing by other characters, but Punisher does.
I mean, if I was to take a shot in the dark, they know he'll kick their nads in if they're guys, and if they're women, he might just backhand them. I don't know if he actually backhands women, but I know Wolverine doesn't always have to kill you. Like, I remember, granted, this is from a film, but I remember he ran into a guy who could just grow his limbs back, and Wolverine tried cutting them off, and eventually he's like, well, cutting these isn't working. So he basically kicked him in the net and was like, grow those back.
No. There was a mutant kid who had the power to like kill thousands without even intending. The kid didn't try. He wasn't actually killing people intentionally. His powers were out of control, and he caused the deaths of he caused genocides just from his powers. And Wolverine like sat him down, brought him into a cave, and he explained to him, if this gets discovered, mutant human relations would be gone completely. And he kills the kid in the cave. He kills an innocent kid, for the safety of mutants and humans. But it's like, he still killed an innocent kid. How come no one's criticizing him for killing an innocent kid? I don't remember Frank killing an innocent kid.
Well, no, Frank, that's kind of the weird, like, actually, that's something that's also with Red Hood, because I think at one point, I heard in the pre-52 Red Hood, he started carrying at least one gun that had rubber bullets in it, because I think it involved a situation where a kid, I think, pointed a gun at him, and he didn't want to shoot the kid or something. I don't remember how valid that is, though, because that was the one pre-52, and also that was, I think, the run done by that bald fuckhead Garth, or what's that fuck name? Not Garth Ennis, no, Garth Ennis. I actually find myself, there's some things I've heard about him that make me kind of respect him, and I want to find out if they're on the level. But the bald guy who is the successor of Alan Moore, I'm blanking on his name.
You're probably thinking of Grant Morrison.
Him, yeah. I think he was in charge of Red Hood at the time, and he always tried to make him as villainous or just unredeemable in certain instances. But so the Punisher, I think he has a case of he does have a certain limit, I think, but I think he isn't given a pass because he uses guns. And as we all know, guns are a magical killing instrument that for some reason owning them is worse than hurting people. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I guess I can never tell at the time, but because the rule keeps changing.
It's been a really long time since I've read a lot of Punisher comics, but I don't remember him ever killing an innocent person. It probably has happened. I just don't remember.
I mean, I guess with Wolverine, it's a case of you could say, okay, it's a hard, like, there's certain characters in fiction who have to make a decision that will eat them up inside till the day they die. Mm-hmm. I guess you could say Wolverine is that character, and some writers, like, every one of them, or some of them, I think, want to have their little, I don't know, their Odysseus, their epic hero who makes the hard decision that no one else wants to make. Like, kind of like how everyone likes to copy Game of Thrones until it went to shit, and then even afterwards, because God forbid you make some that's not a knockoff of something else so unintentionally obvious.
Isn't that what Punisher does? Makes the hard decisions no one wants to make. It's okay. Look, my thing is that I understand completely what they were doing with Wolverine. I understand Wolverine's thought process. You're like, he doesn't. It's not that he wants to kill the kid, but the kid is a danger to anyone else in a 5-mile radius. But it's my thing. If Punisher is going to get lectured for killing criminals, then Wolverine should get lectured for killing innocent people. As whether and like Wolverine has killed his own kids, and I mean technically his kids, most of them they kind of turned evil. But it's like
like he had a son who was like he was married to a Japanese woman. Someone murdered her and ripped the kid out of her womb.
Yeah.
And he became evil. The thing was with him, I think, well, one, he was gay also. I remember learning that. I was like, huh, okay. But I think, like, time just broke him. Like, events conspired to make him a bad person. And I even think he wonders what his life would be like if he had been raised by Logan. That thought does eat away at him sometimes.
Probably like Laura, since Laura she's the one kid who spent the most time with Logan.
But was she raised by him though? I think that was the thing his son would wonder. Was like, if I had been raised by Logan, would I be a monster to this day?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. I think if Wolverine spent more time with him, similar to Laura, he probably wouldn't be the monster. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I wouldn't say Laura was normally raised. He just had more experiences with her around.
Because Laura was the clone, right? Or was his daughter? Because they always kept one origin was she was just a clone because they had access to his DNA, but they didn't have access to like the male. So they just had to make 2 chromosomes, and they couldn't. And males have a Y chromosome, and they only had the X chromosome. Later on, a retcon just explained, no, she is his biological daughter. But she had some involvement in his life and vice versa, whereas the other son didn't. And like I that's one of the things I look back on now when I've looked at certain guys from history like Carl Panzram. Mm-hmm. Like I think one of the letters he wrote to the one guy who was his only friend, a guard. I think one time he wrote that he wonders if he had been treated better throughout his life. Like if he hadn't been abused as a kid or been abused in prison and everywhere else. I mean, I'm like, no, I think you still would have been probably a tough cookie, but I don't think you would have been as bad. But no, even as a kid, before you got beaten, you were doing bad things. Like you broke into your neighbor's house, stole a gun, an apple, and cake.
Yeah,
weird choice and stuff, but okay. But it's kind of like that with Wolverine. Sounds like he wonders, like, if I had been raised by him, would I still be this evil piece of shit? Like, I think in one of the stories where Wolverine he drowns or dies. He even fantasizes about that scenario as he's dying.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's just that in many comics, like maybe you could say, okay, Wolverine did spend a long time with amnesia, similar to Winter Soldier. People would say, okay, maybe that's why he's not lectured by other heroes for just killing people. But there's many instances where Wolverine consciously chooses to kill people, especially in front of those other heroes. Like, he's killed people in front of Spider-Man. I don't know why Spider-Man isn't
Oh yeah, no, Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, listen here, Parker, you stupid fucking nerd. You don't get to bitch about Frank Castle, or you stupid fucking nerd with glasses who should have your lunch money stolen on the regular again. Uh, you give a pass to Wolverine, who stabs people with claws that are made of the strongest metal in your universe. Well, probably not the strongest, but still strong metal. Punisher at least just shoots you dead, and hopefully you die then and there. Torturing you isn't on the agenda unless you have information he needs.
The only reasoning I guess I have is that other characters feel like they can control Wolverine to some degree, whereas Punisher. that's the like because he hangs out with them and they're able to talk to him. Maybe like we can reason with Logan, and we just can't reason with Frank because he tells us to fuck off. And
okay, here's the thing though. I think that would be a good argument if we were talking about people, Ryan, who are actually not agenda driven or I don't know, capable of not having the mental complexity of a fourth grader.
Yeah.
Because look at the way most interactions with Frank Castle with the douchebag Avengers goes. What does their argument usually boil down to? Just from your observations, what does their argument boil down to in those interactions, or how do they treat him?
It's not even just the Avengers; it's the entire community of superheroes in Marvel. They're like, yeah, no, Frank is a problem, and it's like, most of you have killed before. It's like it's not even if this was the Justice League, I'd respect it. It's like, okay, they clearly have more of a rule on this. They're more they don't kill people like on the regular. They have a code. The Avengers, all these teams rarely, if ever, many times. It never makes sense.
Oh. Yeah, no. Also, I'm pretty sure Wolverine has gone to bat for Frank at least once. Like, I think one time a discussion of him came up, and he's like, "No," and Wolverine's like, "No, I don't have a problem with him. Some people do need to be put down." I think it was the Avengers who had that argument, but yeah, he was like, "Yeah, no, I don't have a beef with him." Like, and Frank has killed him in a humiliating way at least once. I think one time he ran him over with not a Zamboni, but those very big wheeled construction things.
Wasn't it because there was a Punisher kills the Marvel Universe?
Yeah. So in general, Punisher doesn't normally go hurt innocent. Like that's why I think a lot of people who have arguments against the Punisher are idiots because their argument usually boils down to he's just firing blindly. You tell me that fucking fascist won't kill someone? Like, okay, first of all, unlike you, this man is serving the military, and I'm pretty sure plans what he does ahead of time with calculating effect. He's kind of like Reaper from Overwatch. He was in Blackwatch, who were the Black Ops of Overwatch. He has to think ahead and plan things out. I'm pretty sure when he does things with reckless abandon is when the plan goes awry and he has to make it up as he goes.
Well, like I said, it's been years, well, not years. I have read Punisher comics. I read a lot of Punisher comics last year. It's been a while, but I don't remember Punisher actually killing an innocent person. So I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I just don't remember. But I do remember instances where Wolverine has killed innocent people, mind controlled or not. And I'm like, if we're looking at the innocent kill counts, I'm pretty sure Wolverine has killed way more innocent people for whatever context, more than Frank Castle. But like Wolverine isn't really getting lectured like on the level Frank is for his actions. It just feels wrong. Also, Moon Knight. Because I'm not saying Moon Knight kills innocent people, but he does straight up kill people. And I'm thinking, like, the other characters just call him weird or crazy, but he's never lectured for killing. He's just called, fucking insane or a lunatic. And they just leave it at that.
Hasn't there been versions where Spider-Man would be like, well, those guys down below, they're the Punisher's problem, not mine, so...
Yeah, Spider-Man, I know. Like, literally, him and Daredevil had a fucking heart-to-heart about, like, people they've killed by accident. And I'm like, why haven't you guys turned yourselves in? You especially, Matt, Daredevil. You've literally... The person who lectures Punisher the most about killing is you. If you have killed people by accident, why don't you hold yourself up to the same standard?
I mean, one time I think the Punisher did cause a death, but it wasn't. I think it was a story where he was in New York.
Yeah.
And he met a woman who kind of reminded him of his wife, and I think there was a kid who saw what he was doing and tried to imitate him, and he got killed. But that wasn't Frank's fault. That was technically the kid and the criminal who shot him's fault, or whatever. So also, Matt Murdock, whatever faults I may see with him, I think he has done things to protect. Because I remember one time someone did like a list of like bromances in comics, and one of them was the one between Daredevil and Punisher. And Daredevil, I think, has done things in the past to, I guess, help Frank or protect him, even when the Avengers wanted him brought in. So,
oh yeah. Daredevil and Punisher have a long time bond. They've also fought a lot, but anyway, the point is, they Daredevil is the one. You know how they say Punisher's not around the other heroes much because he's mostly in a darker place. It's kind of like Blade or Moon Knight. He's more dedicated to like the grimier sides of Marvel. Daredevil is the one character that we see around Punisher, I believe, the most, more than any other character. So yeah, no, they have history.
well, also, isn't Daredevil more in line with that though? Because like aside from him being blind, doesn't he deal with like street level criminals mostly? Well,
Yeah,
usually.
both him. Although, if you ask me personally, I don't think Punisher is really street level because it's not just the military training. But Punisher has dealt with people like across continents and countries and if I remember correctly, he's killing frost giants and killing people in Asgard. It's like Punisher is way past
Okay, whoever made that call, you need to be slapped at least once. But also, that is kind of redundant. Those like, wait, hang on the fuck on. You're killing it. You do realize they're just going to go to Valhalla and find you eventually, right, Frank? Because like, you die, you go to the hall, eat meat, then fight. Oh wait, that's the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Never mind.
Oh wow. No, okay. I my memory is a bit I'm cloudy on this because it's been a while. But if I remember correctly, a kid in the world like lost his family to like some Asgardian shit. So Punisher just goes on an Asgardian killing spree. He kills a shit ton of frost giants and heads to fucking Asgard, and like he starts like attacking all these guys, and like if I remember correctly, Juggernaut, starts to understand Punisher's convictions and stuff, and I'm like, so Punisher can kill like god level threats if he's willing to. And
I mean, yeah, like I think there's a line in Mass Effect from Zayd that said it best. If you're stubborn enough, you can survive just about anything. Well, in the Punisher's case, I'm guessing if you're stubborn or angry enough, you can kill just about anything, at least in fiction.
Oh yeah. And same for Daredevil. Daredevil has like done like shit that's beyond street level. He dodged the Silver Surfer. Something we don't really talk about.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have to ask, when was the Daredevil introduced? And was he in the Silver Age or the Bronze Age?
Silver Age, 60s. The Bronze Age, though, was what people know him for. The red suit, the gritty shit.
Okay, I didn't have to ask. The whole dodging the Silver Surfer, what comic age did that happen in?
It's been a while, but I believe that's Silver Age stuff.
Okay, then that's not too weird because the Silver Age was like really, from what I remember learning about it, it sounded like very weird. Like that's the same age, by the way, we had the Batman show. So
yeah, no, I get it. No, it's just like now in modern comics, Daredevil can do a fucking occult shit. Like, wait, what was it again? What do they call them? The people that like take like demons out of people. It's been a while.
I mean, I would say the Hand, but that might be wrong.
No, well, yeah, the Hand, but no. I mean, like, hold on a minute. Not the Omen. No, it's an iconic horror movie. I can't believe I keep forgetting names. Like a person who could take demons out of human beings. Like they just like Christians generally, the church generally has them. You know what? I'm actually going to think about this for a minute.
I can look it up. 1 second.
Sure, yeah, I'll look it up.
Thankfully, I have my phone on me, so.
Yeah, same.
Marvel group.
Oh no, it's not in Marvel, Nathan. It's not. I'm referring to like a particular profession.
Oh, exorcists.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Daredevil's like a fucking exorcist now. Like he's removing demons from people. He's doing Christian level magic. It's like I don't know if I call Daredevil and Punisher street level anymore, or at all for that matter.
I mean, like, Matt's also like, that's one of the things why I'm not as annoyed with Daredevil in hindsight with his whole no cure. And like, yeah, he's Catholic. There's that whole thou shalt not murder, not kill, but mainly murder, I think is the rule. Killing may or may not have some wiggle room. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, trust me, I'm more on Matt's side, and when it comes to the Punisher debate, and honestly, I respect like his Catholic upbringing, his no kill rule, but he doesn't really live like a Catholic. He sleeps around, which that's just. But also, like, he has killed people by accident, not intending to. So
yeah, I tend to lean more to Punisher, but that's mainly because I think there's some evil people in this world who do not deserve to stay above ground while breathing anyway. So, like, there's some evil people you can't. I don't believe you should even make the effort with. There's some you could try. But then there's some who I'm like, yeah, you can't reason with brainless evil, or as I know them, communists. So I don't know.
Good.
Well, I'm sorry, the zealot communists and the zealot atheists, because normally I don't hate atheists. I hate the zealot atheists who are very annoying and self-righteous and hypocrites who are like, religion is zealously. It's like, okay, anyone who's religious that you encounter, you antagonize and call stupid and superstitious and just an idiot.
I think I just saw Ted Cruz on the news. I haven't seen Ted Cruz in a long fucking time.
No, but but I think we got away from it. But yeah, back to Red Hood and Shield though. So I'm like, Jason still has the ability to be a person. Frank, not so much, because let's see. Fought in one of the worst wars in my grandparents' generation. Lost both of his family to crime violence, and he tried to let the system do its thing. And his reward was to nearly be murdered as his house got blown up.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, what sane person who has been through all that could ever, and I mean ever, give the benefit of the doubt to either the people or the system ever again? I can't say I fault that version of Frank. I cannot. And anyone who wants to tell me I'm wrong and I need to have my head examined, blow me.
Honestly, personally, I don't believe, and like you'll probably, Nathan, you'll probably find this ironic considering my statements about Sheila earlier. I don't believe anyone is actually beyond redemption or actually beyond being a good person. I believe that it's possible for anyone, even the worst of the worst. But I do believe that there is a limit to what humans can tolerate. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I do not think you're wrong, technically. But the idea is you're supposed to try to redeem people, but it's like, at one point, are you allowed to finally say, fuck this shit, and wipe your hands of it like Pontius Pilate and walk away?
I mean, people forget something. People forget that redemption comes from the person doing the bad thing. Like, you redeem the person after they've shown that they're attempting to be redeemed. Like, if someone tries to do the right thing, and then you're like, okay, I forgive you. It's like, okay, that's redemption. But people seem to think if you just like say, oh, I'm over it now, and the person, didn't do anything to deserve that, they think that counts as redemption. It doesn't.
No, honestly, I look at redemption in a similar light to forgiveness. It's kind of a power. I remember there was this one guy, he's like an ex-con.
Yeah.
I didn't really like him, but there was that one video he did that made me want to throw paint in his face. But
really,
he basically was like, yeah, no, forgiveness is a power move. It's like, I'm choosing to take away what little control you have of my life.
Right. Oh yeah, I've heard that before. Forgive someone not for them, but for yourself. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, kind of. It's either that or, I don't know, you could be like Raziel in Legacy of Kain. You forgive him. You forgive Kain because, honestly, he's the only means of giving Nosgoth a future, but that's a different context. And anyone who sees this and doesn't know what I'm talking about, watch Legacy of Kain or play the remaster of the first two Soul Reavers, the Soul Reaver games, and then all of them in once if you can find a copy. But learn the lore, damn it. That is some cool shit right there. Like, I swear to God, there's this one statement about Legacy of Kain I kind of agree with. It's kind of like the Shakespeare of video games. But then again, if you listen to the dialogue, you might see why, or you'll think I'm nuts. But Raziel, he has no reason to like Kain. Like, especially as a vampire, human Raziel was a piece of shit. He was a religious zealot who basically butchered and persecuted a race that were the vampires. They were just another in Nosgoth. They're just another race. Vampire Raziel, he is moral and upstanding as a vampire, but when Cain rips the bones out of his wings in what seems like a fit of jealousy and throws him in the lake of the dead, Raziel has nothing but contempt for him and anger. Because he served Cain for a millennium. And then he threw him away, or it just seemed like he threw him away without giving him a second thought. And his brothers, his vampire brothers, his fellow lieutenants who knew him for just as long as he has known them, a millennium, they all watch and participate in it.
Yeah.
And then he learned, and later it turns out that Cain, it wasn't jealousy that made him do that. He recognized this as an opportunity because he wants to fight fate. He wants a chance at a better throw against destiny, to, as he put, defy the tyrannous stars. And he saw that this moment with Raziel as a chance to do that. He basically created Raziel to be a being with actual free will. And Raziel eventually learns this is like, you know what? I don't like Cain, and I will never forgive him for what he did to me, but Nosgoth has a better chance at a future with him alive.
Yeah.
To a point that Raziel allows himself to be sucked into the Soul Reaver to cleanse it and Cain. Because, if I remember correctly, the problem with Cain is he can't see the true enemy. And once he accidentally stabs Raziel with it, and Cain does not like what he did, by the way. He's like, no, what have you done? I was like, you will now see the true enemy. I am once again your right hand. And once Raziel is sucked into it, he can see the Elder God. This, I would say Lovecraftian, but honestly, that's more generous than the Elder God deserves. He's a prick. He's a parasite who devours souls. He also caused the ancient vampires to go insane.
I always believe vampires were always insane, but that's just personal, you know.
I mean, I know you're probably joking, but you're not wrong. Yeah, no, the vampires in Legacy of Kain, they used to be another race. They weren't always vampires, but the ones who are known as like the first generation of vampires, the ancient vampires who had wings, like which ironically Raziel developed. If I remember correctly, they went to war with because they worshipped the Elder God. I don't think they knew what he was at the time. And honestly, right. I don't even think he's from that world originally. I think he landed there and just became a parasite, sucking on the souls of it. But they worshipped this thing, and then the Hilden showed up. They go to war with the Hilden. They win, but the Hilden put a curse on them. This curse makes them bloodthirsty vampires, and they can no longer be a part of the cycle of life and death their god has. And their god basically abandons them. He turns his back to them. And they go insane from this. Some of them kill themselves.
Vampires.
Just so they can lose the cycle.
Jeez.
And eventually, all but one of these ancients is left by the time of Legacy of Kain, or at least by Defiance, because Raziel goes back in time to interact with him, and I think Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance. You see him briefly in Blood Omen 2, which wasn't originally part of the plan the people making the games had, but the studio forced them to do it.
Yeah.
But ancient vampires, they used to be just another race that had wings. The Elder God abandoned them, and they went crazy. And worst of all, the Hilden eventually possessed Janos Aldrin, the last ancient vampire. And they also do this because Raziel killed the one person who was capable of finding them. He temporarily killed Cain, although Cain managed to find his way back into the land of the living. And cherry on top, when Mobius tried that same stupid trick he always did, it stopped working. It's like, well, you'll find the part of me that made that staff work is null and void, let's just say. Wait, what? I always was considered heartless, because Raziel literally ripped the heart of darkness out of Cain's body.
Really?
So, but anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, no, that's kind of where I think Raziel either he forgave him because he kind of saw some of Cain's logic, or he forgave him or he quasi forgave him because it was for the benefit of Nosgoth, because that's what Raziel's goal was at the end of the day, was a future where Nosgoth was free. It could never have its innocence restored, but it could at least be given a future. and I dragged that on. But yeah, no. So I could say maybe Jason is that. Where it's like, yeah, given the context, I'm not as mad. I'm mad at her for letting me get beat the fuck up with a crowbar. But oh well, she's dead. I'm alive. Actually, no, Barry. In the words of Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog, our differences are settled. She's dead. I ain't.
Part of me wonders if Jason even knows he lured her. So she lured him to get beaten to death.
I would think so. Maybe. I mean, after he came back, he might have figured that out eventually, assuming he looked into it. Because when he came back to life, like I'm pretty sure, like doesn't the Lazarus Pit drive you nuts, or it like amplifies your worst traits?
It drives you crazy, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if he would have even think to look into that. Honestly.
Oh, I meant like years later. Like he's Red Hood. He's already, he's gone through his trials. He's close to his normal. Well, he's not normal, but he's better off than he was resurrected. I think he figured it out.
Maybe that's one of those things where it's like, because I wanted to do a video at some point talking about ambiguity. Like some things are better off not elaborated on. It's like, well, no, sometimes you can leave things up for someone just to make up on their own. And also, like, how are you going to do anything with that? Like, are you going to base a comic around it? Because that keeps making the same mistake that Star Wars and people make with the Joker, where it's like, everything gets an origin story. Every dipshit shillless thing gets an origin story. Like, the stupid stuff you used to laugh and giggle with your friends about on the middle school playground, that shit's canon now, because the fourth graders run the editorial department.
Okay, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, no, Rage Smith, if you see this, I blame you for putting that joke in my head. I blame you.
You're good. You're good. I'll admit you're good. Honestly, though, they've already retconned her, like, being there when, like, they already retconned her luring him there. Because, like you said, in the New 52, she dies when he's, like, I think a baby, I believe. So it's like they'll have to re-retcon her doing what she did, which I'm just fine with them, like, leaving that in pre-52.
I mean, in New 50, like, yeah, pre-52 is the one where that happens. I think in New 52, it was the Joker found this lady who had a drug problem. She took a drug that made it look like she died. It imitated, like, death. It basically was like one of those things that made it look like it imitated death or heart failure.
Paralyzed.
When really your heart's beats is just very scarce. You're still alive, but no one knows unless they know to look for it. It's kind of like the zombie drug.
Either way, I prefer that over. Hey, Jason, can you? No, why did I say Jason? Oh, I'm thinking of Jason Todd. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Either way, I still prefer that over like her luring her son to Joker. Honestly, any approach they've taken later for me is just better. People want to bring it back. I've seen people in those Twitter threads we were on. They want DC to like bring back her luring him to get killed and then him sacrificing himself for her. I know DC, they usually bring everything back. Heck, they did
unfortunately. Well, actually, no. I'm pretty sure, like, wasn't there a rule among comics? Like, there are certain characters you never bring back. Like, one of them used to be Jason Todd and Bucky Barnes. The other one was Uncle Ben, I think.
Well, Bucky came back, Jason came back. The closest Uncle Ben coming back is Doctor Strange giving Spider-Man some like mystical artifact where he could talk to his ghost, but they didn't really resurrect them.
Okay, then I would say, I mean, the best I think you could do with that, like, let's say they choose to address it, just do it in a very small way.
They won't fucking kill Aunt May though. Anytime they will keep her alive.
There's a part of me that wants to make the joke of, well, of course, because men are expendable, but I don't know. Maybe they're just like, yeah, fuck it, let's leave it be.
No, dude, they literally, one more day, after the events of Civil War, I believe, she gets shot, Spider-Man brutally beats down Kingpin, and she's dying. And Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto, the devil of Marvel, to keep her alive at the expense of MJ and his unborn kid. It's like Marvel will go above and beyond to keep Aunt May kicking. They will not kill her. They will never.
Yeah, but Also, one thing I was thinking about as I was setting the space up for us to do it, I was kind of thinking about how like Jason. I'm just like, I mean, Jason forgiving his mom. I think that says a lot about him. That like even if it's a case of he forgave her even after he was resurrected, is like, well, I guess Jason wasn't as bad of a person as some people like to write him off as,
I
because
don't think he forgave her, Nathan. I don't think he ever. I don't think he was ever mad at her. I don't think like he just. I don't think he blames her at all for what happened. And
I
like
mean,
I
yeah,
said,
he hates the Joker beyond words. So he's like, yeah, no,
I,
if you have something to hate more than someone else, you're going to hate that thing. But I'm like, okay, let's say hypothetically he does forgive her. I'm like, I mean, then yeah, he's a better person than a lot of douchebags like to give him credit for, who love to bitch about him when he was Robin. But it's like, because I know at least two people who have moms they do not like. They hate the fuck out of them, and I'm not talking about you.
I mean, look. Despite my issues with my mom, I don't think I hate my mom as much as I hate Sheila, Todd, or whatever. I don't like I said. I think what she did in Death of a in Death of the Family, I think is worse than most mothers. So, there's a list of terrible moms in fiction or in real life. I think
Yeah.
she's number one. Or number two or some shit like that.
I mean, what's worse, being a horrible mother or being stupid about being a mother? Because I can name two. Because Catherine the Great, her mom was a horrible mother.
Yeah.
She was also in turn a horrible mother to her own son, but she was also dumb about it. Because I remember Paul of Russia. He actually did want to try to better himself to lead Russia one day.
Mm-hmm.
And this is after he was married to his second wife. His first wife did not help his mental problems. When he came back expressing this interest, he's like, your honeymoon is meant you put on airs. Go sit in the corner or whatever. It's like I'm like, you bitch. Fuck you.
I heard George Washington's mom. She kept telling people she's poor when George was taking care of her. So she kept begging for money, and George Washington literally had to show people, I give her money every week or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that George Lopez joke about his mom, where his mom, he's like, yeah, my mom still likes to pretend she never did all these horrible things I joke about. And I'm like, you lying bitch. Is like, I mean, fairness, George, in hindsight, I don't believe you either, but that's for modern reasons. But here's the sad thing about Paul of Russia, though, aside from the fact he shares the same name as my step-grandpa.
Who knows? He might be a descendant.
I highly doubt that. But what's sad is not only that, but the fact that Catherine made no attempt to at least give him some guidance in the event he became the czar. Here's why it's even more sad. After Paul had a son, she wanted to make her grandson the heir, not him. And I think her grandson was like, look, with all due respect, grandmother, I cannot accept this just out of respect for my father. I love him too much. I can't do that.
Maybe her logic. You know the saying goes that the moms you hate are like better mothers to your kids. Maybe she thought if my grandchild takes this position, he'll treat me better.
I doubt it. This was only supposed to be set up after she died, so she was picking up who would take over after she died.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, never.
And what's even sadder is, because of this, Catherine not only made no plans for what would happen after she died, aside from making her grandson her heir, I don't think she ever made any thought to what would happen if Paul took over, to a point that eventually he was killed. Like, his anxiety became a self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess. But then again, I heard all this from Extra Credit back when I took those douchebags seriously. And Extra Credit, if you are hearing this, I hate you. Anyway. But
Extra Credit,
you fucked over Paul royally. Wait, what?
Isn't Extra Credit the History Channel with the the little doodles?
Yeah, they used to be okay. Now I have nothing but contempt for them because of all the bullshit they say, and also the lie they put up about Vlad the Impaler's dad, where they tried to insinuate with their title that he is why Vlad became a quote-unquote monster. Like, no, motherfuckers. He was not a monster, and neither was his dad, because if his dad didn't give a shit about Vlad, why would the Ottomans use his son as leverage? He already had a son who was old enough to be his heir, their eldest brother, his eldest son.
I think they
Again,
did a
extra
short.
credits. Fuck you if you hear this.
I think they did a short where they said Vlad the Impaler or Vlad. I could be mixing this up with the Czar, but I think they did a short where they said Vlad the Impaler's dad was decent, but I don't remember. It's been a while.
No, he didn't. No, those douchebags didn't. I remember there's another channel I watch. It's Raven something. He's done a few videos on Vlad and also taken some return fire pop shots at extra credit for being disingenuous douche canoe hacks. He said, like, yeah, no, he probably more or less must have cared about his sons because he at least made that effort. And also, the Ottomans would have been doing all this out of obligation to return them eventually. Obligation, which honestly kind of makes me like the Ottomans. I'm like, you know what? I may not always like them, but at least they have their priorities in order.
The Ottoman Empire, a name I will never forget.
Yeah, and the worst part is the second England was dumb enough to get rid of it, everything went to shit. But anyway, so Paul, after he takes over, because the grandson declines the offer to become czar, he gets killed. I forget how he died, but I think he was murdered because I guess some of his decisions weren't that great. And then his son takes over, and he does all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Catherine, the thing that gets me is, like, Catherine had a shitty mom who told her, I think one time to make her fall in line, she took her to a spinster's house to show what happened if Catherine wouldn't behave one day.
Right.
I was like, okay, so you forgot the pain of your own childhood that easily? Like, I have a feeling if young Catherine saw her son, she would have nothing but guilt. At least that's what I think.
You ever heard that scientific study that people tend to look at their childhood more nostalgically when they age, no matter how bad it is?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, there's a line in, of all things, the Old Republic game. I remember there's this one line if you are pursuing, like, a romantic interest with Vet or just like a companion conversation where he goes, like, Vet's talking about all these memories she has, and one time the Sith warrior has the option to say, the memories of better times in life are treasures later in life. I would assume it's something to that effect, although even if you have a shit childhood, you can at least look back on them to escape from the shit situation of being old.
I mean, I guess. I hope that shit never fucking happens to me. I do not want I do not at 40 or 50, if I live that long, because I might die before that. I hope I don't, but I might.
Oh yeah, you could be crossing the road in Compton and all of a sudden a bullet finds your neck.
Oh shit, damn.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. You live in Georgia. Never mind. Oh shit.
Well, no, you're cool. It's fine. Honestly, I said I do plan to move to LA one day, so maybe that will happen to me. I don't know.
Okay, of all the places in California to move to, you move to that shithole. Like, and anyone who comes to San Antonio, like, I've been to LA at least once to my memory. It was not a pleasant experience. It was a shithole.
I've been to.
I was actually kind of disappointed when I got there because it wasn't on fire.
Yeah, I've been to states in the country. I've been out of the country, but I've never been in fucking LA. And for some reason, that pisses me off. No, not for some reason. I know why that pisses me off.
Or wait, it was either LA or San Diego. I remember we flew to California for my sister's because my graduation present for high school, I don't remember. I remember what it was for when I finished college. For when she finished high school, she wanted to go to California for whatever reason. But then again, unlike my sister, I actually know enough of what it's like now to know, like, yeah, no, you couldn't pay me to live there, let alone visit. And unfortunately, I had to visit it. But I was disappointed when we were landing. I could see the city from the sky. I was like, I'm severely disappointed. Not a millimeter of this place is on fire. What the fuck?
They call it the City of Angels.
Yeah, maybe more like the City of Fallen Angels.
No, I find that funny because there was that John Constantine movie where they were implying hell's involved with the City of Angels.
I mean, that wouldn't be too, like, okay, look, if I'm a demon and I want to make humans come to a place where they don't know I'm at, why not a place that's called the City of Angels? It's the last place you'd expect them to be.
There are 2 cities in DC. Oh no, not 2. There are 3. There are 3 cities in DC. Well, that I know of. There might be more. Where it's established that they're basically gateways to hell. New York City, California, and Gotham City.
Okay, Gotham, that one's not surprising. LA, also not surprising. The weirdest one of those three you said was New York, Manhattan. For me, I was like, wait a fucking minute. Is anyone shocked by this? I mean, it's New York. I mean, I expect nothing but crap from there. Like, this is the same place that elected that idiot Hochul, where they tax you out the ass, and they give more rights to squatters than actual people who pay the bills. What the fuck? So I'm
The
like,
general. Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
so yeah, the idea of there being a hell gate in Manhattan, that is not too weird. Like half the time, I would expect it to be like Devil May Cry 4, where throughout the city you'll find hell gates.
Yeah. Okay. So generally the logic goes that every single biblical sin you could think of has been done in New York. Every single immoral thing you could think of has happened in New York. At least that's what people say. So of course demons will be attracted to that place.
I mean, I'm surprised New Orleans isn't one of them because, like, no offense to New Orleans, I want to visit it one day to see the French Quarter, and honestly, I only live a few miles from the city because literally where I live is not far from the border with Louisiana. But I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
Louisiana or New Orleans in general would actually be a fitting place for a gateway to hell because think about it, there's lots of occult shit. There's voodoo stuff. There's like the city has a very eerie feel to it. Never mind, the Count Germain had been there at one point.
Yeah, that is fair. Honestly, though, if I ever went to New Orleans, it'd be like Homer Simpson. I'm only going there to eat. I'm only going there for the food.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you because I'm like, okay, since Popeyes is allegedly going to stop serving shrimp, I might have to go there for good shrimp now. That's the sad part.
Yeah, probably. Although be
Also, they have
careful.
Cajun. I like Cajun food if it has crawfish or shrimp.
Just watch out for the shrimp you eat because you ever heard of that report about Indonesia? How the
Yeah,
shrimp.
yeah, you and Bats told me about that. I was livid.
Apparently, I think that's what's causing the shrimp shortages.
Wait a minute, Indonesia. I'm trying to like. Okay, granted, this is probably gonna sound like an idiot, but I'm trying to remember Indonesia and India. Those are two different countries, right?
I think they are, but I honestly.
Okay, so I'm just going to assume they have a similar ethnic group there. So let me get this straight. First, you fuckers do the telemarketer scams. Then you fuck me over with my favorite food. You and the corpos are on the shit list.
I mean, they're both in the east, to my knowledge, but I don't think Indonesia is India or near India. I think those.
Yeah, I know there's one lady who used to be married to my grandpa, who's younger than my mom. I know she's from Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
I've met her sometimes. She's not a horrible. I don't think she's a horrible person. I just never really cared talking to her. It's not even like I hate her. It's just like I can't be bothered. I have shit to do. Either that or I'm very scatterbrained. Either one's possible.
There are those people you just have nothing in common with. It's not that they're bad people. There's just nothing in common. You know, it's like, you know, you don't hate them, but you don't really have anything to talk to them about or do anything with, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of worse, though, when there's someone you probably should not like, but you have something in common with them, which makes you like them, and you hate yourself for it later on.
Oh, don't even get me started.
I have to. I gotta ask, who are you thinking of?
I'd rather not say.
Okay. I was gonna say if you say Keegan, I'm gonna laugh.
No. Keegan is one of those, and Keegan will probably listen to this. I don't know. Keegan is one of those people that I don't think is. I don't think he's not. I think he's too dumb to hate. You know, it's like you got people where they're just so dumb you can't hate them. And
I mean, I disagree there. Stupid people should be hated because they're worse than evil people.
You sound like my stepdad. That's what he says.
Well, no, this is a point I've heard a few times in the last couple of months where some made the point of how like stupid people are more dangerous than evil people, and they were kind of like, look, if it wasn't for stupid people, evil people would exist in a vacuum because they need the stupid masses to do what they want.
There was one skit, and it's animated. There was one skit where I completely understand hating really stupid people. You got two guys stranded on an island. This one guy finds a lamp, rubs the lamp, finds a genie, and he wishes for he wishes for like fire. He wishes for the firewood to have fire, and he wishes for like stupid shit. And at first the other guy's like, okay, where did you get all this stuff? We might live on this island because you were able to help with the fire and everything. And then the other guy reveals, oh yeah, no, I came across this lamp and found this genie, and I wished for all this stuff. And the other guy, and the guy who basically is told this, he's fucking tweaking out because like you could have wished for anything. You could have wished this off this fucking island. he literally
God, yeah. Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, that's assuming the genie wouldn't fuck with the wishes. Like the dumb guy could have unintentionally made a wish that was so like it was hard to fuck with the wording because like it's kind of like with the Wishmaster. The Wishmaster, if you give him a wish, he tries to pervert it because you failed to specifically specify what you want. In that case, maybe yeah, the genie could have done that. It's kind of like Norm the genie, who was voiced by Norm Macdonald in his first appearance, and also may or may not be where my somewhat disdain for the Canadian people comes, or Canada comes from. Jokingly, of course. But it's like that genie. He grants the wishes for Timmy. Like he's like, I wish I forget what the Popper's name is, but he wishes that she would fall in love with Timmy Turner, and is like, and she starts kissing all these guys. He's like, what's going on? Well, you see, they're all named Timmy Turner. There's Timmy Jedediah Turner, Jimmy Hosea Turner. You know what they all have in common? They're smarter than you. And then the only way he can get out of this fuck up, because the second wish also goes awry, is he's like, if I'm going to get out of this, I need someone who's as dishonest and has less moral scruples than a 1,000-year-old genie. And he goes, I wish I had a lawyer. I think I told you and John and Keegan this a few days ago. Like, and
you did, yeah.
The guy they teleport is like in the middle of a person. Like, yeah, see, a straight flush. What are you blind? It's like, what the fuck? This isn't New Vegas. Oh, hello, Norm. And then Norm just like, oh, great, him. And then as they're signing the document to everything restored, Norm's like, I hate being out-jerked.
I think Norm is like one of the smartest genies in fiction because I remember him straight up saying, no, you cannot wish for more wishes. Most genies fall for that.
Wait, what? You can't wish for that?
You can't, yeah. That okay. That's one loophole.
Oh no, that's right. He'll tell Carl like, no, you can wish for more wishes. We've been telling idiots that for years, and they always believe us.
Yeah. Yeah, a loophole with genies is that they give you 3. If you say I wish for more wishes, they have to give you more wishes. But like I believe that you can't wish for more wishes. I don't know if it was
that's just.
I don't know.
So I'm imagining. So yeah, no, a stupid person. Like I remember there was this one guy. He was killed, I think, after the Nazis, and he was like, yeah, I considered the German people, my people, to be relatively smart, and lots of people he knew personally to be smart people. They surrendered not only their freedom but their autonomy without giving it a second thought. He's like, yeah, no, the stupid people are the ones you should be concerned about because they will do the most abhorrent of things with a proud look on their face and a song in their heart. And I'm like, actually, yeah, that makes sense. That explains communism and socialism to a T. Because just look at the Spanish Marxists and what they did. They did it without thinking twice.
I gave Marxists the benefit of the doubt for so fucking long until I found out that apparently Karl Marx was pro-slavery. I was like, what? Like, he defended American chattel slavery. And I'm like, what the fuck? And you know the irony in this? He wrote a letter to Lincoln congratulating him for freeing the slaves. So it's like, is that bullshit? That might be bullshit. Because he straight up says in one of his books that chattel slavery is one of the benefits of North America. One of the benefits of like the
chattel slavery. Yeah, I've never heard someone call it that before. I was like, wait, what the like? I know what chattel is, or I've at least read in the past. I'm like, chattel slavery. That sounds interesting. I need to look this up. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, no. It's either a case of Marx is just I don't know, maybe was trying to cushy up to someone, or that, or maybe by then he had changed his mind. I don't know for sure.
Like he distinctly says that when he distinctly makes it clear that he believes that the labor of slaves is better than the labor of the proletariat. So this already tells you that in Marx's mind, you know, the proletariat isn't just anyone. It's a specific group from a specific society. It's not every single person. He doesn't view like all races the same. And this is what gets me with Marxist fans. You guys will cancel people for doing edgy jokes. Like you, Nathan, you do edgy jokes, so you'll get canceled.
Yeah.
But fucking Karl Marx, he called Mexicans lazy. He's insulted black people more than once.
I thought that was Che Guevara.
Oh yeah, he hates.
Oh wait, no, he called black people lazy. Never mind.
Well, he called Mexicans lazy because America got California, and he believed the Mexicans shouldn't have let America take California. Whatever. The point is, is that Karl Marx has said racist shit, sexist shit. He's been anti-Semitic, and he is Jewish. That's the irony. And I'm sitting here like, why do you worship this guy? Like like if Marx was alive right now, he'd be violating every single politically correct thing out there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe he would go along with it just enough to get something. Like the thing is with these fuckers, this is why I kind of found it funny when a bunch of leftists found themselves on the receiving end of a cancellation after they said either they were glad Charlie Kirk was murdered or that they wanted more people murdered for being, I don't know, Republican or whatever, or Charlie Kirk's family. I was like, yeah, no, fuckers. You cancel people for saying edgy things or things you don't like. You got canceled for calling for more bloodshed. We are not the same.
I feel like there's a time and place. Put the politics down, and it's like if we could just put the politics aside, a dude got killed. A daughter doesn't get to see her dad again, at least while on Earth, and a wife doesn't get to see her husband again. It's like, does anyone why can you just like put the politics aside? Whatever.
Yeah. Also, I will say the same thing about this. I say about edgy jokes in response to a horrible event. At the very least, wait 24 to 48 hours. After that, I'm kind of on your side. It's like, especially if it's an edgy joke. Like, I remember this was back when I still watched Chris Gay run. He was talking about how someone made an edgy joke after a terrorist attack. I think it was at an Ariana Grande's concert. And the guy goes, and I thought I hated Ariana Grande's music.
Yeah.
And he got his shit pushed in him. And I think Gay Run was like, look, there's a time and place. You should probably just wait a bit. Like, yeah, they made that. That's the mistake these leftoids and Reddit tards and Blue Sky fagaloons made. Is like, look, if you're going to be evil pieces of shit, could you at least give the family 48 fucking hours? Or at the very least, wait till they buried him? I know that's too much to ask for you parasites, but at least give it to them a moment. They just lost a member of their family.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight them on whether he's racist or sexist or this or that. I get it. You're progressive, he's conservative. You guys are opposed ideologically. I understand. But it's like, if you just stand outside of your politics, which is my problem with a lot of these progressive activists, they can't do that. They live and die for their politics. It's like parasites. It's like they got poisoned by politics, and now all they know is politics.
They've become a cult, basically, or a religion. Like, this is why I say they're commies. It's like, communism is worship of the state, or in this case, the state you want to be in. Insane. You people are fucking insane. You are, like, you would make Charles Manson blush and be jealous. Which is kind of fitting because he died shortly before the real craziness started.
Wow. Yeah, but no, like they can't separate anything from politics. To them, politics is everything. So it's like they can't put their hate aside for this guy. And to me, that's just sad. I'm not.
Yeah, like I wasn't a big fan of Ozzy Osbourne to a degree. Like I liked his music, but I wasn't like going around saying I'm glad he's dead because of what he did to Dio. I wasn't. I to a degree I am sad he's dead because he was a very talented man. He contributed to music in his own way. Same with Julian LaFay, who died around the same time, and it was Julian LaFay. Oh, and Hulk Hogan. The difference is Hulk Hogan's contribution is commendable and warrants a medal. He killed Gawker.
The one thing I will give them, some of them have pointed, not all of them, some of them has pointed this out. Charlie Kirk did say once in an interview that he doesn't believe in empathy and he doesn't believe people should practice empathy. It's like, okay, he did say that. I remember that interview. It's like, I guess if you're going on that logic, well, he doesn't believe people should give into empathy, so we're not going to give into empathy now that he's dead. Okay, I understand that, but it's like, unless you're referring to that, this whole thing is kind of ridiculous. It's like,
Actually, let me look up that quote now because lots of things they've been saying about him are always out of context. It's kind of like with the gay thing. Like, I remember that douchebag Stephen King who got his shit righteously pushed in.
Stephen King said that, apparently he said that Charlie Kirk advocated for the genocide of gays. The irony...
No, he advocated for the stoning of gays, and then it turns out he didn't say that. He said, I'm for gays being returned to the fold. And also they basically took what he said out of context. I don't think it was like fully good. It's hard to remember now, but it was not as bad as they made it look. But then again, this is what leftists do. Anything you say, they will take out of context. And it's not like a case of like, say, like this is a point I remember Ryan Kindle had about Neil Gaiman, who I feel no sympathy for. And Neil Gaiman, I hope you are miserable some days. If you take anything that someone does in the privacy of their own home and you hear about it, it's going to sound awful, even in the context.
Poor Neil Gaiman.
Like, yeah, no, it makes no sense. Then again, Neil Gaiman did tell a woman to lickety poop. Lickety poop.
Neil Gaiman's cancellation, it came out of nowhere for me. I never thought the man would get canceled. It came out of nowhere. But and on top of that, it's like it severely stained his legacy. It's like, you can't even bring up Sandman now without someone talking about like the weird kinky shit Neil Gaiman's into.
Yeah, I found one thing. It says, like, apparently a woman asked a question about him not being able to stand up, and he says, "You don't have sympathy for that man." I'm like, yeah, no. Why should I have sympathy for people who want me dead or who abuse empathy? Quite honestly, like, empathy is a tool to cultural Marxists. They take advantage of it to fuck with you. A lot. They jerk you around. That's why I hate Marxists. That's why I hate leftists. They pretend to be moral. Like, no, they are not moral. Moral is just a word that they use. Just like the words they use to defame you. They say Nazi, racist, sexist, misogynist.
It's like,
I mean, you're close, but okay.
Karl Marx fits every single... Look. If Karl Marx wasn't racist or sexist or any of that stuff, or anti-Semitic, whatever, if he was none of those things, on some level, I could probably admire these guys. But because he's all of those things, and you still you still worship this guy. You got mad when someone thought about taking down a statue of him. You don't want the statue brought down. It's like, he fits the categories of all the things you hate. Why don't you hate him?
Oh yeah, I also go with okay, people who don't like Karl don't like me complaining about Karl Marx. Even if I do throw him a bone, it's never enough. You still try to yell at me for disliking him. Also, you basically like a man who had himself buried in England because he didn't want to be buried next to the poors. Fuck you.
Also, he did not write much of his own shit. Friedrich Engels did most of the writing. Karl Marx.
So what you're saying is we need to piss on Engels' grave and then Marx. Good to know.
Yeah, it's like, look, the majority of the Communist Manifesto, the vast majority of it was done by Friedrich Engels. Karl Marx did little for that. I mean, he wrote the introduction, he wrote portions, I think he wrote the end. But it's like, Friedrich Engels did most of the writing because of how fucking lazy Marx is. I'm like, why isn't Friedrich Engels more credited with these books? With the
look, I will say the same thing about Marxists I say about the cult of Kojima. It's the cult of Kojima, not the cult of consistency. And also, at the end of the day, they don't really care. Or at least I don't think they care who actually wrote it. They care about what does a critical drinker like to say? The message. That's it.
I know. Honestly, there was a YouTuber who was a Marxist. And he said, yeah, Karl Marx was racist. He was all these things that, like people found out he was. But I think we should remember the man we should remember the man for communism, and we should also remember that there are other communists who weren't like that, and they were inspired by his writings. And I'm like, I can respect this because this guy is admitting these things about Marx. A
I mean,
lot
I
of
have a counter to that then. Why is it that you same Marxist cunts love to tear down people who did bad and good in life? Like, you love to bitch about Andrew Jackson. You also love to inconveniently overlook other things about him, like the fact that this man was one of the, like, he was either brave or crazy. I think the two go hand in hand. There's not many things in this world that scared him. The one thing I've heard of scaring him away may not even be true, and that was the Bell Witch.
yeah.
Like, you bitch about him, you bitch about Lovecraft, how you try to tear down his memory at every opportunity, but you have no problem profiting off his memory. All right, no, fuck all you Marxists. You are lying sacks of shit. Hell, even when one of you does have a quality that makes me sad you're my enemy, it turns out you're even worse. You're still a scumbag. Che Guevara is a prime example. I used to respect that he at least tried to be consistent with Marxism, but he was also a struggle snuggler, and it fucking sucks that I have to use child glove language. But let me see. That he thought blacks were lazy. I think the same of Mexicans. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I think his wording was blacks are inferior, Mexicans are lazy.
Isn't that ironic? Because I remember my mom told me that Che Guevara called out America for their racist practices. This motherfucker's racist himself. Like,
yeah, this is why I don't like the Black Panthers or the Black Panther wannabes. Maybe they have something about them I could respect. It's like the people you look up to are scumbag, especially the communists. That's the thing I mainly hate about the Black Panthers is you are Marxists. The only people who are dumber than you, in my opinion, is Charles Manson because he tried to set you up one time because he thought a guy he shot was one of you.
My issue with the Black Panthers, it just comes down to the fact that they believe in communism and stuff, Marxism or socialism, whatever. But it's like a lot of the communists, Marxists, and socialists you read about and you were inspired by, they do not like you, or they're just as racist, I guess, as the cops you hate, if not more. I don't understand, like, taking their philosophies and trying to apply them to your movement, because these people don't like dude, there most of these communists from history were racist and sexist as fuck.
Like, so what you're saying is they were based, basically.
What I will say is that if
you there?
Look at them and shows. Oh, you can hear me? No?
Yeah, no, your thing occasionally, it's like it has a delay in the audio. But yeah, no, I was like, actually, let me rephrase that. They weren't based, they were based adjacent.
Look, let's just say that for their communist beliefs, they're too conservative for communists now.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the communists of the Communist Party of America. I'm pretty sure if I grabbed one of them, not Elia Kazan, I think he would hate them. But let's say I grabbed Albert Maltz or that one fat fuck who basically had Albert Maltz raked over the coals. I'm pretty sure if I grabbed one of them who was actually good at making stuff, art, if I brought them forward in time and showed them what the modern communists like, they would probably be like, I can't decide if I'm impressed or appalled. You talentless hacks.
Honestly, man, it's been. I'm trying to think for a split second. Oh yeah. I often wonder when it comes to these guys. Like, I don't get the logic in like trying to look up to these people, because, like I said, if you met them, they would not be the heroes you think they are.
The only thing I can wrap my head around is like, okay, there was a point I remember a guy had about Hannibal Lecter. In some ways, his argument for why he does things makes sense to him, but it only makes sense to him. Modern communists, and also the Antifa-tards, who, if any of you are also watching, fuck you. They have to make an argument that they can use to make sense to them and to basically bullshit people into going along with them, because Marxists are a bit like modern journalists. and game journalists, and like all the journalists who should have been swallowed, not conceived. They have to make mental gymnastics that would make the Ringling brothers blush.
You heard on the news, people are saying, even on the internet, people are saying Antifa is now considered a terrorist organization. How do you feel about that?
Let me see. How can I say this with some integrity and not coming off as weird? I had to wonder if I accidentally took a bottle of Viagra and consumed the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me an organization, a domestic terror group, that people have been wanting on a terror watch list for a while. Like in New Jersey, they were considered a domestic journalist. Sorry, a domestic terrorist group already. And I don't know if they stayed filed that way for long, but they've been that for a while. Like this is the same group that bashed a man over the head with a bike lock because he was just handing out drinks.
What the
who
fuck?
harass people, who heckle them and try to kill them.
What the hell?
Yeah, I do not like Antifa. Honestly, calling them terrorists, it's a bit like calling NAMBLA pedos. It feels too nice.
I wonder, are they still around? Because I haven't heard anything about them.
NAMBLA? For all I know, they might be.
No, not NAMBLA. Antifa. I haven't heard any news about them doing any riots anywhere.
Yeah, I guess they're watching their asses because they know if they try anything. Because I remember they were saying how they were going to go into the more rustic areas and take the guns. I was like, yeah, good luck with that. I look forward to seeing you either being made part of the pavement or being used for marksmanship practice.
Really? They said they go. Really?
Yeah, they like some of the lefties were saying how they were going to go into the countryside and take the guns. I was like, good. I hope they shoot you then, because you are very stupid and evil. Because you're basically saying people's rights don't matter, and you can do what you want without consequences. Like, I would think you were. I know you lefties are stupid, at least the crazy ones. I didn't think you were this stupid.
Why don't they go up against the government if they're so anti-fascist? Why are they attacking random
They
people?
aren't. They're anarcho-communists. I swear to God, English is my first language. But
yeah,
no, they are basically like the Bolsheviks. The only difference is the Bolsheviks weren't funded by a foreign power. They just want to get enough people on their side to lead a violent revolution, or because that's what they think the Bolsheviks did, when in reality it was actually kind of dumb. Because I think the story of how they actually took over was really silly, just in an overview sense. Like I remember, I think it was Oversimplified did a video talking about it. I was like, oh my fucking God. This is almost as funny as the time you did that skit about how Marat died. Which basically was like, so where's those list of traitors? Okay, here you go. Wait, what the fuck? What, half a mo? This ain't a list. It just says yippee-ki-yay, mother, stabbed.
What about the incident where the Canadian Army couldn't take care of like a whole herd of ostriches? Like the ostriches.
Wait, what?
I sent you that. It was there was an ostrich problem, I believe, in Canada, if I remember correctly. They sent out like the Canadian military to take care of these ostriches, or was it the Australian military? I don't remember. I think it was the Australian military, but it wasn't enough. They couldn't take out the ostriches. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it sounds more like that actually kind of sounds like Australia. They had something like that happen years ago, like generations ago. They got into war with this one breed of animal.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with an O. I'm blanking on it, but like this one animal was given their military. I'm like, oh dear fucking God, crumb.
Yeah, ostriches. Yeah, it was an ostrich problem apparently. The ostriches were terrorizing the
emu. That's it, emu.
Oh, the emu. Yeah. Okay, maybe it was emu. Man, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right, well, I better go, Nathan, but it was awesome catching up with you, man.
That was good, Dan. You have a good one. Have a nice day, everyone, and give me a hit and all that crap.